joining us. Thank you, guys. Alan?
May we pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for all you've given us this time of year. We're giving and receiving love presents. I pray that we, first and foremost, remember and celebrate the present you gave us so long ago. He lives with us still. We celebrate the birth of Christ and through the way we live and serve each and every day. I pray you bless this food to nourish our body. That's thy service. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Family of Rotary, Terry Duffy.
Thank you very much, President Sheila. Before we get to the anniversaries and birthdays, a couple of things. I hope all of you that rang the bell had a very successful time out there. I know it was a special treat and blast for me on the 2 shifts I had. I want to give special thanks to my ringing partner. I guess we've been ringing a couple of years in a row with Mr. Tom West. Thank you very much. What a trooper and great inspiration. I hope some of you members here had a chance to meet and get to know some of your fellow Rotarians as we were out there ringing the bell. And most of all, I hope that we have raised a gigantic amount of money for the Salvation Army. They do so much good for this community, and that's such an important task. Also, Mary Beth. Mary Beth got married over the weekend. So I get to now, Mary Beth Meadow, Brooke, a very fine gentleman, super guy. I know a lot of people know him. And one thing, and then I'm going to ask you to give a round of applause. Leland McRae, been a member of the club a long time, faithful member, and this is her last official meeting. The state of Florida has been tugging at them so long, and they're building a house, and so today is the official last meeting. And I'm sure everybody would have said this. I did. I said, anytime you come back and visit, put it under my name. I'll be glad to pay. So let's give a little. Birthdays: Charles Button, December the 29th, and Josh Chapman on December the 30th. And then we have a host of anniversaries. One of them really, really super important. They're all important, but one really important. I better say that. Collins White and Jesse on December the 20th, and Terry Duffy and Sharon on December the 23rd. I told somebody at our table today, my wife is one of the toughest ladies that you'll ever meet and that I have ever known. We've been married, if I don't get put out of the house between now and the 23rd, 49 years. So that's an accomplishment. I don't know how she did it. Gary Winkle and Carolyn on December the 26th. Mike and Sheila Azorn, December the 27th. Andy Goslin and Lavonda, December 28th. We got a pair on the 29th, full individual, and Fred and Arthur Gardner and Tina. And then Adam Roberson and Monica on December 30th. And Robbie Thomas and Patrick and Patricia on December the 31st. What a New Year's Eve. So anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody. If I don't see you before, happy holidays. I hope you get what you want or what you're looking for, but most importantly, hope you get to spend Christmas with somebody you really love and care about. So thank you.
So Rosemary asked me to tell everyone who did participate in the bell ringing, thank you very much. She couldn't be here today. She's not feeling well. But she wanted me to tell everybody thank you. And I did, some of you shared pictures with me. I did get, I think, most of the ones that I got up on the board for everybody to see. And it was fun to get to wear the Santa headband, was it? And the tie, thanks to Catherine. Absolutely. Stephanie, introduction of guests.
Good afternoon. We're happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized? Tom Sorrells. He's the guest of Sheila Azar. Tammy Merrill, guest of the club. Morgan Engel, guest of Dale Goodwin. And Maddie Goodwin, guest of Dale Goodwin. Are there any other visitors that we may have missed? Thank you for visiting the Dothan Rotary Club today.
Catherine, you ready for Ambassador? All right, the last four, 68-25. 68-25. How many points? 24, 54 points. Oh my God. Do it. Not this time. Well, since you're up here, just kind of hang out with me. We're gonna embarrass you today, I guess, but, you know, you have been in Rotary for a while, and, just so happens that, I have a Paul Harris Fellow for you. So, I want to present that to you. You know all the good that goes behind one of these. I won't read everything to you, but it is a Paul Harris Fellow Plus. We're thankful to have had you as a member of this club for a long time. How long?
I'm not sure. I was trying to count today, and I'm 17, maybe 16, 17.
Well, you are appreciated, and so you might want to speak to her on your way out today.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We appreciate you. All right, and I had a couple of things to do down here, so I just decided to come hang out down here. Tom Sorrells, would you join me? So, you know, it's our duty as members of the club to bring new members, but Tom actually came to me and said, hey, I'm interested in Rotary. So I've known Tom a long, long time, and I appreciate him, and I know he is a man with a lot of integrity, and he can also get things done. And so I appreciate his friendship. I'm excited to have him join us. I want to present this plaque with the 4-way test to you. Your badge that you'll wear in the meetings, that leave in the box when you leave, and then your pen, your Rotary pen, absolutely. And I have a little statement that I want to read to you, and then I think you wanted to say just a word. You've been elected to membership because everybody feels that you will be a good fit, that you'll represent Rotary well, and I believe that also. You're admitted to Dothan Rotary Club, but Rotary is a worldwide organization. You'll be welcome anywhere in the world at Rotary. If you're visiting another town, you'll have to see where they're meeting, and you'll be welcome to join them as well in their meeting. We do have duties and obligations. You'll be expected to attend, you'll be expected to serve and to do what's asked of you and to show the principles of Rotaries whenever you're out in the community as you live your life, which you do already. So on behalf of our club, I want to welcome you, and I want to ask you to welcome him with a standing ovation.
I just want to say I've been through a long time, I've seen what you've done, and I actually many of you so much. I know many of you for many years, some of you are younger, and I don't know you. Some young lawyer the other day asked me, didn't I used to be Tom Sorrell? So I guess I did. But Groucho Marx is supposed to say I would never belong to a club that would have me as a member, but I'm very grateful to have me sit through. I'm honored to be a member of this club. Thank you so much.
James, you wanted to talk about the election.
Thank you, President Sheila. As we announced in the last two meetings, and we'll read those to you again, the nominating committee, which is composed of the 5 most recent past presidents, has nominated the following members for officers and directors for the 22-23 Rotary year. If you're here, please stand. I know it's holiday week and some may not be able to be present today. For President, Greg Hendricks. Greg's out of town. Josh Chapman, President-elect. Rick Rockard for Vice President, and I know Rick's on vacation this week with his family. Directors, we have 6 nominees. We'll select 3 from these 6. Adam Hall, Trey Michael, Art Morris, Jason Rudd, Terry Stansel, and Donna Tomley. All right, thank you. This time, before we vote, we will open the floor for nominations for president.
Make a motion nomination be closed.
Nomination made, do I have a second? All in favor say aye. Same sign opposed. Motion carried. Are there any nominations for president-elect?
Make a motion nomination be closed.
Have a,
Second.
okay. All in favor say aye. Same sign opposed. Are there any further nominations for vice president?
Make a motion nomination be closed.
Have a motion, second, all in favor say aye. Same sign opposed. Motion carried. Are there any further nominations for directors?
Close nominations.
Have a motion, to close nominations, second. Have a second by Dale Goodwin. All in favor say aye. Same sign for opposed. Motion carried. All right, the names of the nominees are on the ballot. They're in front of you. At this time, if you're a voting member, if you're an active member here at the Dothan Rotary Club for Monday, please mark your ballot, and our Sergeant Arms, Oak and Cal, are going to be going around collecting that. If you don't have a pen, borrow one for your neighbor or a table next door. Our Sergeant Arms will be and we have Mr. Angelo will be going to the, also one of our Sergeant Arms. This will be counted. They'll be given to our president. And over the next couple of weeks, nominate the ones that have run the office for 22, 23, and also our directors will be a 2-year term. for 22-23, 23-24. And she will notify the club, also notify all those that are the officers and directors for those terms. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Can I give just another second or two to do this?
Yes, sing a song for us, Sheila.
Oh, no, I step away from the microphone when you start singing. Just in case. Thank you, guys. Josh is going to introduce our speaker, Dr.
We're happy to welcome a friend of mine, Dr. David Roy. Dr. Roy joined Wiregrass Surgical Associates as a general and robotic surgeon in August of 21. David was born in Birmingham and raised in Dothan after his family moved here when he was 5 years old. He attended college at Auburn University, where he graduated summa cum laude with a degree in biomedical science in 2012. He attended UAB School of Medicine, where he received his medical degree in 2016, graduating in the top 5% of his class. Dr. Roy completed his general surgery internship and residency in 2021 at the University of South Alabama in Mobile. He won multiple distinctions while in residency, including the class and overall winner awards for the first annual robotic surgery competition and American College of Surgeons Resident of the Year award. Also, while in residency, he authored multiple peer-reviewed research publications and was also named as Administrative Chief Resident, an honor bestowed by faculty. He chose to move back to the Wiregrass area to serve his hometown following residency. They moved to Dothan with his wife Kelly and his 2 boys, Jim and Wesley. Dr. David Roy.
Thanks, Josh, and see a lot of familiar faces from about 13 years ago, so it's good to be back. And we'll just talk a little bit about robotic surgery. It's been in the Wiregrass now for a while. First case was in 2012, and we really started getting volume in about 2014. So it's been here and has become pretty robust in the community. So most of y'all probably either have had a procedure done robotically or know of someone who has had one done robotically. But I just kind of wanted to give an overview of what are the differences, what makes it unique, what are some of the advantages, and just when you hear robotic surgery, what does that really mean actually happen? Did a robot do everything? Maybe, who knows? So just a little peek behind the curtain of what all that means. All right, so 2 big things. What is robotic surgery? And then I'll just touch briefly on what our program in the Wiregrass looks like right now. So types of surgery, 3 major types. And these general surgery, no one really knows exactly what we do, but it's mostly GI surgery. And today I'll be talking mostly about GI surgery, hernia, gallbladder, appendix, colon, bariatrics. So open abdominal surgery. This is the traditional surgery. Make a large incision. You use your hands and instruments, and you perform the procedure. In the 1990s, laparoscopic surgery came to the forefront and really revolutionized what we do and how patients recover. So laparoscopic surgery, and it's kind of tough to see all the pictures, but it utilizes small incisions and ports with straight stick instruments and a camera and a 2D screen. So you're operating in 3 dimensions, but viewing it in a 2-dimensional screen. And that allows smaller incisions, which relates to or translates to faster recovery times, less pain medication, those sorts of things. So that's called minimally invasive surgery. That evolved, so just so you know, these are kind of the instruments. So it's a straight instrument with a handle, it's handheld, and it has the ability to rotate 360 degrees, the ability to do some sort of action, whether that's cutting opening, closing, grasping. You can pull it in, or push it in, pull it out, move it up, move it down, but it's limited in that it can't do what a normal hand can do. So you can't articulate a laparoscopic instrument, and so the angle that you have is really locked in. It is what it is. So robotics, a completely different paradigm, but using some of the same principles from open surgery and from laparoscopic surgery. There are three main portions to a robotic operation. So the first is the patient, where the robot itself is. The second is a robotic tower that kind of acts as the computer brains behind the operation. And then the surgeon, who you see is on the other side of the room from the patient in a console looking into this big, we call it console. I don't know what it would actually look like. This video screen. And the surgeon is controlling the robot from across the room. Now, those robotic instruments are just like the laparoscopic instruments. They're small, they're 8 millimeters, the camera's 8 millimeters, and they're just like the laparoscopic instruments, except they're controlled by a robot that the surgeon is ultimately controlling, and they can articulate. So it becomes like a hand, like a surgeon's hand. So it combines the two, open surgery and laparoscopic surgery. So we can do something minimally invasive, but we have full control over the instrument inside of the body. So instead of operating with two instruments, I'm operating with my hands that have become instruments inside of the body. And these are just kind of give you a size comparison of what we're actually talking about. These things are quite small, but they're really robust in their the abilities that they have. All right, so my wife hates when I show any videos related to anything or any pictures, so I had to put warnings in. These are not, I tried to make these as least gory as possible, but to show you how these instruments work, I've got a couple videos, and so if you are like my wife, this is a good time to look at your chicken or your phone or something else. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to try and make sure these videos work correctly. Let's see, I'll try. All right, so this is sewing a mesh into an abdominal wall hernia. And really what I want you to see is how the instruments are working and how smooth everything is. And hopefully the video will work. It might not. Any way I can do this, Josh?
I'm hitting the right button on your.
Let's see. All right, let's see. Here we go. Quick time not available. All right, well, they're great videos. We'll see them some other time. All right, so yeah. So basically what the advantage here is that typically to work on an abdominal wall hernia, if you're doing that laparoscopically, it's almost technically impossible to, number one, close the hernia defect itself, and number two, to use a suture material to stabilize the mesh in, which leads to the need to use tacking devices, which they work, but they hurt. And so that's an additional bit of pain for the patient. So the ability to sew on an abdominal wall hernia robotically is tremendous in both the ability to close the actual hernia defect itself and the ability to secure a mesh into place. And then this is just another video that's not going to work. All right, so what are the advantages? So talked about more degrees of motion. In addition to the console being across the room, it also has 3D vision. So the camera, the 8mm camera that we have has two cameras in it, and it translates to a left eye and a right eye for the surgeon. So traditional laparoscopic surgery is limited because I'm operating in a three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional screen. So I have to learn depth perception for that, and you lose the three dimensions. So robotics brings back three dimensions. It's in 1080p. It's an amazing image. It eliminates any tremor. So no matter how good you are and how free of a tremor you are, there's always a human element if you're holding something that you can't hold something perfectly still. A robot can. And so it has, it's programmed, it has software that eliminates any tremor. It takes it out of the equation. It doesn't cause any motion. So for really precise movements, if I'm sewing blood vessels, you can change the ratio of how sensitive the robot is. So instead of being a 1-to-1 motion, it can be a 2-to-1 motion and a 3-to-1 motion. So it becomes more fine control when you need fine control, which you can't do that laparoscopically, and you definitely can't do that if you're doing an open operation. The ability to do a dual console assist. So if there are two surgeons in the room and you needed two surgeons operating at the same time, a second console can be used to control the assistants on. And then something called Firefly Technology, which I'll show you a few pictures, and I'll give another, I guess, intraoperative picture warning. Firefly Technology uses something called indeciding green and lasers. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel. But what it does is this medicine that can be given IV, and the laser causes us to be able to see where blood is flowing and also see structures that we might not be able to see otherwise. So this is a picture of a colon. So we're doing colon surgery. Typically when you do colon resections, you take a piece out and you put it back together. You want to put together colon that has good blood supply or bowel that has good blood supply. And sometimes that's not as easy to see where that defining line might be just looking at it. The ICG and Firefly gives you this really robust, definitive picture of this is where the blood supply is, and this is where you should, transect and connect your colon back together. It also gives you peace of mind after we've made that connection. You can do it again and see that you indeed have great blood supply. So not only can you use it to see blood supply, but you can use it to see structures. Frozen, probably because it's a video. Let me go to the next one. All right, so this is a picture of a gallbladder surgery, and you don't really need to know what is what, but on the left, this is the same exact picture, just with Firefly on and with Firefly off. So a surgeon might have a concept of where these structures are, but they might say, oh, is this an artery? Is this the common bowel duct? And one way to tell is by using the ICG. Turn it on, it lights up like a Christmas tree, and you have basically an anatomical roadmap of where you need to go before you have even done any dissection. Before you really started your procedure, you know where things are. And I'm going to have one more video that's probably not going to work. So this is something that I actually worked on with the faculty at South when I was there, is to, again, intraoperative picture. So the ureters, the pipe from the kidney to the bladder is right next to the colon. So if you're doing colon surgery, that's a structure you really want to avoid, right? And so we said, well, this ICG works great other places. What about putting it into the ureter and seeing the ureter before we even start our surgery? And so this is inside the bladder. This is a video of us going in the bladder and into the ureters, the connections. And we're going to inject some ICG dye. And then we'll see some intraoperative pictures of those ureters where we, I would have fast forwarded this video, but I can't. So I'll show you kind of once we've injected this dye on the inside, we'll be able to see the ureters before we make our first incision in any of the tissue surrounding the ureters. So we know where they are before we start, which is an incredible advantage. There's the dye coming back after we put it in. We don't have to leave stents if we don't want to, which also has some advantages. And there you can see before we've made any incision, we see where the ureter is before we've even gotten close to it. And there it is again. This stuff hangs around for a while because these operations are long, 2, 3, 4 hours. And so at 2 hours, it's still bright. We know where it is, and we're able to see it before we even get to it. So we actually, that hadn't been in the literature before we made that, but, or in the colorectal literature, so we published that. All right, so what does this translate to for you, the patient? It means that we can do more advanced things, minimally invasive. We can do more complicated surgery than we could before. We can do it safer than before. That translates to less pain, less opiates after surgery, more durable hernia repairs, shorter hospitalizations. In fact, with ventral hernias, that used to be a 2-3 night stay. Most of those we do outpatient now. And then quicker return to work. I have patients who return to work after hernia repair 2 days later. Some people get squirrely and go back the day after. But yeah, people are back doing what they like doing a lot quicker. My dad was out on the golf course putting the next day. My clicker might be dead. Let's see. I have like 2 or 3 more slides. All right, so where are we in the wiregrass? Yeah, this next one's pretty much the last one. So you can go ahead and advance. All right, so this is one of the big reasons I came and joined Wiregrass Surgical Associates with Dr. Finley Marker Cannon, is because they had a robust robotics program, more robust than a lot of people in the state. And I'm going to try and put these numbers in perspective because they're really impressive to me. So this is before we got here, and Dr. Kyle Best joined at the same time I did. So they had accumulated over 4,000 robotics cases in the group. That's just 3 people. We now have 5 general surgeons that are robotically trained. At Flowers, I'm just going to speak to Flowers because that's where I work. We have 3 XI robots, which is the top of the line, newest version. We have dedicated teams in the OR that just work with the robotics platform. And then just to put those numbers in perspective, there are 83 CHS hospitals, that's who owns Flowers, in 16 states. I think that there are 86 robotic surgeons in those. And of all of those combined, our group is the highest volume group, period. By volume, comparing to other Alabama surgeons, 2 of the 3 partners are in the top 10, number 2 and 6, and the other one is in the top 20. That's of all the surgeons in Alabama doing robotic surgery. And then we're a bariatric center of excellence. To compare the 3 XI robots, when I was at the University of South Alabama, they had a much larger institution. They had 2, and they had just gotten their second one. It was at the Children's Hospital, Women's Children's Hospital. So we have access to and a large volume practice of these robotics cases. Kind of the next logical step with how surgery is moving. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or add to that if y'all have anything.
Are they doing the bariatric surgeries now as far as the weight reduction? They doing that with robotics also?
Yeah, all of them now, yeah. And I think that we're the only people, and I'd have to check Montgomery. I don't think anyone in Montgomery is doing robotic bariatrics. And I think the closest would be Mobile. And we're the only bariatric center of excellence. There's one in Mobile, there's one at UAB, there's us, and then I think Tallahassee might have one. But that's a nationally accredited program. We have to go through a lot of hoops, basically quality. They look at outcomes and quality and stuff. So.
I think I know the answer to this question. Dr. Ward, since you're across the room, could you literally be across the country performing the surgery?
Yes, so yes, so you can actually be across the Atlantic Ocean, and they've done that. So people have, and it's more of a proof of concept than anything, that somebody in Europe did a gallbladder in America a few years back, just to basically say that it could be done. Obviously, that's not how I want to do it, but I like being in the room. But yes, it can be done.
Do you do any heart procedures?
I do not. I stay away from that.
So does your group do?
We don't. Dr. Wana does all the cardiovascular surgery. I'll do some lung stuff, but very minimal. We like to stay a little bit below the diaphragm. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, that was very interesting. Appreciate you coming, Jamie. Thanks for bringing to it. Was really good. If you're not in the room, I want a really good internet connection and a backup. But it is amazing. It's very amazing. Leila, would you want to step out by the badges and let everybody tell you congratulations on honoring fellow and wish you the best? And Tom, if you'd like to join her out by the badge boxes, everyone can welcome you. So our visitors, we appreciate you guys being here. Hope you'll come back. Dale, did you have an announcement?
I do. I think we need to congratulate our Santa Claus. He did a great job. Yes, we enjoyed it. And the grandchildren enjoyed it. It was great to be there.
Santa needs a breather now.
All right, again, Stan will recite our four-way test. But first, I'll remind you, no meeting next week and no meeting the week after that. Our next meeting will be January 15th. And so I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and a safe one as well. All right, other things that we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?